My name is Michael Larson. I'm an admission counselor at St. Catherine University in St. Paul. And I've been doing that for about 8 years. Margie was kind enough to send some subjects that she would like me to cover tonight, but I wanted to get an idea, first of all, of the ages of the students that you have an interest in. So, now I know there's some students here. What grade levels are you at? Junior, senior, freshman? All right.
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore, okay. And parents of seniors, any senior parents here? Okay, and juniors? A lot of juniors, okay. And sophomores? Okay, very good. Well, as far as the, one of the topics that Margie suggested was prep work in high school. So, and this is fairly common information. It's fairly standard for most colleges, at least baccalaureate level colleges and above. We're looking for 4 years of English, 4 years of math, sometimes 3, but 4 is better than 3, basic math. 3 years of science, perhaps more, 3.5 years of social studies, 2 to 3 years or more of world languages, and at least a year of art, fine arts, something like that. Those are kind of the basics, and I guess where it relates to your particular situation in applying for college is to keep in mind a couple of things. One is that you, the student, or your student, is unique, and colleges recognize that. We're dealing with large numbers, and yet we do recognize that each application form is an individual. And it's a little bit daunting to kind of encapsulate your entire life and personality into some sort of admission form, and yet that's what colleges are asking you to do. The second thing is that the main admission question, as an admission counselor, the main admission question that we have when we're looking at an application is, will this student be successful here? If we think you will be successful at St. Kate's, we will offer admission. If we think you will struggle, we don't feel it would be fair to offer you admission. We do have several options, but that's really the basic admission question, and we're not unique. I mean, every college, university has that question. Now, there are some very highly selective colleges. Harvard is the one that comes to mind. They have many more qualified applicants than they know what to do with. And so it becomes very highly selective, and the decisions, I don't envy them in having to make those decisions between who gets in, who is offered admission, who's offered wait list, who is denied. Part of that is the quality of the school, of Harvard, the history and things like that. Part of it is a reflection of the population, especially out east. Most students tend to want to stay within a few hundred miles of home, and it becomes a bit of a numbers game. But most colleges, there's 4,000 of us around the country, most colleges don't have that problem of too many qualified applicants. St. Kate's, we have, and I'm talking about our bachelor degree program, we have about 2,200 undergrads. And that puts us about the middle of the pack of what you'd call a private college or a small college. Anywhere from maybe 1,000 to 5,000 undergrads. A mid-sized school would get up around 8 to 12, maybe 15,000. And then the large schools, the Big Ten schools, Minnesota is one of the largest in the country, can get well above that. we're dealing with probably 1,600 applications that will come in for our first year class next fall, and we'll offer admission to probably 12 or 1,300 of those, and we'll wind up with a class of about 400. And so, and that's not uncommon among, I think, most private colleges. The public colleges tend to get larger, and so the numbers go up a little bit more. But it's still the case that our question in looking at an application is, will this student be successful? We're looking for the information that will allow us to say, yeah, this student has shown that she or he will be successful. So when you're preparing the application, and you, meaning the students, don't get wigged out, all right? We are asking a lot of kind of general qualitative questions about what classes you've had, things like that. We're going to get a lot of quantitative information, grade point averages, and test scores, and class rank, things like that. We're going to ask for an essay, a writing sample. There's a lot of information out there that's, you know, your whole future relies on, you know, how you write this thing. That's not the case. Given all the quantitative information that's in the application for admission, the writing sample gives us a glimpse into your personality. And we want it to be authentic. We want you to take advantage of spell check. We recognize that if you're applying to more than one school, you might use the same essay. Take the time to reread it and make sure you didn't put the wrong school name. It happens, you know. Is it going to kill the application? No, it's not. Don't worry about it. Okay? But you might be careful about that. That's basically what we're looking for in the college essay, or the writing sample. A glimpse into your personality. Make it authentic. Okay? Parents, don't write it. You may read it, you might offer some suggestions, but it's the student's work, it ought to be authentic. The common application, the Common App, that's a generic application that's out there. There's about 4,000 colleges, universities around the country. There's about 400 of us that are members of Common App, which means that you can go onto the Common App. It's an online application. You fill it out, and then you click off the schools that you want the application sent to. Do not click off 400 schools. Okay? That's not what it's for. But if you are applying to 6 schools, it saves you a lot of time in terms of completing an application. Is there an advantage to doing the Common App versus the individual application that a school has? I don't know of no school that has a preference one way or the other. Well, they might have a preference, but they're not going to tell you. It's not going to make a difference. In our case, we don't care. If we have a written application you can request, you can apply online, or you can use the Common App. And I think most schools are the same way. They're going to say whatever works best for you is fine with us. The college admission exams, these are the ACT or the SAT, when to take them and how often and which ones to take. Ideally, I would recommend a student take the test, one of the tests, in a junior year. They're offered, most students in the upper Midwest will take the ACT, and most schools, though, will accept either one. The ACT is offered in January and April and in June, and that's typically when we see high school juniors taking the test. That allows you to get the results back and determine whether you think it's a true reflection of your ability as a student. And if not, you have time to take it again in September, October, or December of the senior year. In our case, at St. Kate's, we will take the best score of the tests. So you don't have to worry about whether you should send it in or not send it in if you don't score as well or you score higher or lower. Again, don't wig out over it. You know, this is, we recognize the ACT is an indicator of potential for success in college. It's very useful because it's a comparison across a nationwide sample of students. Compared to the grade point average, which is somewhat can fluctuate from school to school, and class rank, of course, can fluctuate quite a bit based on school size. So those are kind of the quantitative numbers we look at, and that's why the ACT and the SAT are important. However, we also recognize that on the day you took the test, you might not be feeling so well, or the guy next to you is making funny noises all morning and kind of breaks your concentration, or something else is going on in your life and you know it's just not your best day. And there's also the phenomenon of test anxiety, and where the ACT results or the SAT results don't reflect the student's academic ability as well as the grade point average and actual transcript scores, things like that. We know that, and it's fine for you to tell us that, but again, don't worry about that. That's not one of those things you can always control, and colleges recognize that. So if you have test anxiety, that's the way it is. You know, you deal with it, you do the best you can, that's all we can ask for. And we recognize that that is not going to make or break your college career. Let's see if there's any. There is, as far as the material that I put out, I want to explain a couple of things. I put out one of these, this is called our search piece. And I didn't intend for it to, you know, really be an advertisement for St. Kate's, although, you know, if it works that way, that's great. But most schools have what we call a search piece, and it's kind of the piece of information we give someone that first indicates an interest in the school. They stop at a college fair at our table, or they ask for information or whatever. And it gives you an idea of the type of information that schools, you know, want to put out there initially. And so when you're kind of looking at schools, it might be useful to kind of see what sort of information to expect a school to send you. The other piece that I brought is our college visit piece. And this also is not intended as directly as an ad for St. Kate's, with all respect to Bethel and everything. But it's a piece that we send out that it's got some good thoughts about things to do on a college visit, questions to ask, what to do ahead of time before the visit, what to do during it and after the visit, questions to ask. And so I thought that would be useful also. Those are the two pieces that I have. And I guess that's all I want to say right now.
Thank you.